Just sanded these out a little bit. They're they got like the pock marks from the last layer of paint that was on here. So you're just going to sand it out smooth. You're still going to be able to see it, but once we prime it, it'll be gone effectively. And then we're going to give the primer surfacer a quick sand down. See, these are pock marks that came up because we painted it blue one day. We were painting outside and it started raining, and it did this to it. And then he drove it around for about a year with that raindrop paint job. And then about, well, it's almost 12 years now. This orange, we painted it this orange. But now it's time for new paint. So we're working on Connor's F-150 today. We got everything sanded up. We got her sanded down to 220. Next step for us is going to be spot priming it with some primer surfacer. And we'll just hit the places we puttied and where it's blown through or where it needs to have some primer surfacer to even it out. I mean, it all feels smooth and everything, but that stuff, that'll still show up through paint if we just prime it. So we're going to primer surfacer everything like this. Probably these whole fenders will get primer surfaced, I think. These doors are in pretty good shape. We might spritz a little on there. Where this putty is, it's definitely going to get primer surfaced with the 2K primer surfacer. It's an epoxy product. And he's taping this all up. We're getting taped up so we can get her sprayed.
Kind of doing the final tape job right now.
Yeah. Got the hood back here. On and blow off stuff, but that just throws so much dirt in the air. It hangs in the air for days. And then it settles out in your new paint, so we don't want that. This is the hood. It had some dings and dents, so it's got a lot of putty in it. But ultimately, that putty, probably at the deepest spot, is less than an 1/8 inch thick. I mean, we're just trying to get the hood so it looks good without a bunch of ripples and all that. So this is going to get a heavy coat of primer surfacer, and then there'll be places where we use that polyester spot putty. They just mill that spot putty down. It goes on really nice and smooth, and it cleans things up pretty nice. And then once that's done, we'll sand everything off. We're going to hit it with a primer sealer and then shoot paint on it. And he picked out a green. And we were talking about this as far as like, what are our goals? All right, because this isn't a restoration, is it, Con? Where we call this a restoration?
No way, man. No.
If you watch television, these guys are all... You all right?
Yeah.
These guys are all like tearing everything down to bare metal. And if we did that, what are we really doing? I mean, we know that this substrate is stuck to that metal.
Yeah.
It's stuck there. There's no rust bubbling out.
Anything that was loose came off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the bottom line is I'm going to drive the truck. You in Northeast PA, if you buy a new vehicle, you drive it through one winter, you're already got chips.
Yeah, you're starting.
So
basically, what do you get out of a truck in Northeast PA?
I'm going to be satisfied with this truck, driving it 3 seasons of the year for 5-7 years, and then I'll shoot it again and address issues then.
Because it's all the rage. I guess what I'm driving at is you watch television. They got a crew of professionals. They pull something all apart right down to the last bolt. Then they blast everything, sand it, rebuild everything in the vehicle. It costs thousands and thousands and thousands of countless thousands of dollars. And then they put it back together, and they've got, I mean, for a restoration like that, it takes 2,000 hours. So what we're doing right here is we're going to take this truck and we're going to put it back in service for what, Connor? What do we got? We're going to have 80 hours in it maybe? So that's 2 weeks?
Yeah, I'm going to tally up the hours to figure it out, but I think if I had 2 solid weeks of working, I could do what I did, which was a frame-off restoration.
Yeah.
Just obliterate as much rust as you can, treat as much rust as you can, seal as much rust as you can, do some patching, and paint it. And it's not going to be perfect. If you want perfect, then you should hire out.
Yeah, well then you hire the guy like you see on TV.
Unless you're retired, because if you're not retired and you don't have 40 hours a week to dedicate to it for a year, you're going to lose steam and you're not going to care about it. It's going to sit in your garage.
And that's why you see so many garage finds that are all tore apart.
Yeah.
It just takes too much. I guess my problem is I watch it on TV And it's the same thing with the house restoration guys. It's all the same. They take a half-hour show, and these people, and then at the end of that, or an hour show, and people are moving into this gorgeous house. That took, as far as man hours, I don't even know. You're talking 1,000 man hours that they boil down to one episode with every tradesman coming in with 4 or 5 guys each, and then you sit there and watch that and think you're going to do that in weekends, and it just
It's demoralizing.
it's demoralizing in the long run.
You have to have expectations of realistic expectations, and then you got to realize what you're going to do with it. And then the truth is, Ford built this truck so it lasts about 5 to 7 years anyways.
Yeah.
So why am I going to build it to last longer than Ford planned on it? I mean,
Can't do it.
not really.
You can't do it, and you can't do it for the value of the vehicle either.
No.
So what is this truck going to be? Figure we get it painted up, looking great. What would somebody give us for it? What could you get out of
I'm
it?
estimating that when I'm done, time and materials, scrounging and saving parts over years, I'll be probably $4,000 into a truck that's got a brand new paint job that I can get in and drive
Yeah.
to work every day. So I don't think I could run out and buy one for $4,000 that's got all that, but probably 5 or 6.
You get into 5, 6, 7,000.
Yeah, realistically, they're not that valuable. It's just an old truck.
But this truck here, with what we're doing,
It's gonna be cool.
it's going to be real
It's
cool.
not gonna be perfect, but it's gonna be cool. I guarantee people are gonna want to buy it at the gas pumps.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
Yep.
But what are they going to want to give you for it?
They'd probably give me $5 or $6,000.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. So that means that even at that, 5 or 6,000,
It's a little bit of profit.
that's a little profit,
It's
but
paying
not
your
really.
wages to do it. I mean, it's a hobby for us. We're not professional, but
So if we took this truck, it's an 82 F-150, that in really nice shape is probably worth 5 or 6,000.
I saw a really nice one for sale. It's been for sale in Syracuse. It's like a really original '84 Lariat, so it's a higher trim level. Guy wants like $8,000, and it's sitting on there. Somebody will eventually buy it for 65 or 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
You know,
So to take a truck like that, to restore it and build it up, and what?
now
You know-
this is a truck that's got its original paint job for $8,000. You know, so.
Right.
But it's really creamy. It's a mint truck.
But you can't take a truck like that. You can't take a vehicle that's worth at the very top $8,000 and spend 2,000 hours restoring it down to every nut and bolt. You just can't do it. I just don't understand. That's all I see on these.
If you want perfection because you have a sentimental attachment or something like that, you need to hire it out, and then you need to shell out cash.
Yeah, and it's going to be about 20, 30, 40,000.
If you want a vehicle that's different and that's older and that people are going to turn their head to look at, then you need to be realistic, and you're not going to have perfect.
Yeah. And to get perfect is going to cost so much money, so much more than the value of the vehicle.
You and me could spend another 40 plus hours blocking this out to a closer to perfect level, but it's not worth it.
But that would be just perfect paint job. I mean, that wouldn't be, you did a great job on the frame. I'm not saying you didn't, but you didn't dip it.
And it doesn't have a ton of Bondo,
No, it doesn't. We got it pretty clean.
but
What do you do?
we're gonna drive it. Probably a deer's gonna run out in front of me, and I'm gonna hit it, and we're gonna shoot paint on another fender I've got and drive it some more.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's a difference. I mean, if like these shows, a lot of times they have a special collector vehicle. You know, like if they got a Hemi Cuda, you got a Hemi Cuda that needs restoration. You can afford to spend the money on it because when you're done, the value of it will be there.
Yeah, but that goes right down to unless somebody wants to give me a Hemi Cuda, I don't want a Hemi Cuda.
Yeah, I know. I almost don't want one.
I mean, because it's going to sit in your garage and it's going to be really nice to drink beer and look at it. But as far as driving it, you're going to be scared to do it.
Yeah, to drive around a rare collector $125,000 car or more. I mean, they've been known to go to what, $250,000 on like Mecum or something like that.
A Hemi Cuda?
Hemi Cudas.
Oh, well, there's convertibles sold for $2 million.
$2 million.
$2 million for the 7.
See, now you can afford to restore that.
Yeah.
You can hire the best guy in the world to restore that if you got the money to do it.
There's vehicles that makes a lot of sense, but that's a whole different market, and that's not a driver car market.
Yep.
You know, there's all the popular shows are, you know, around that, like graveyard cars for the Mopar guys and stuff like that. And you might have somebody restore a Yanko Camaro. But those cars don't get driven, and they probably shouldn't. But I want a car I can drive.
Yeah, me too.
You know?
Well, there are the guys that they'll spend 20 grand on a Camaro, bring it home, tear it all apart to have it really restored. And
Yes.
and the numbers matching thing, that's another crazy
And
thing.
it might not be even a valuable Camaro.
No, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Not even a really valuable Camaro. Nothing that was rare in the day.
Their Camaro that they're going to drive to parties in the summer is going to be the perfect Camaro.
You wind up with 60 grand in that thing.
Well, that's fine. If you really want that, then pay up.
You're better off letting somebody else pay up, and then you go to Meekum and buy it.
I think
I
so.
see them go cheap there, 25 grand.
Yeah.
That's another way to look at it too. I've seen real like Mach 1, a 70 Mach 1, I think it was, and went for like less than 25,000. Compared to what you can buy new today for 25,000, that's not a bad deal to just go buy it, and it was completely restored. So I don't see how you could completely restore something like that, sell it for 25,000. By the time you have your money, all the money you got wrapped up in it, let alone hours, somebody's losing money, I think.
It's economics.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you go out and you buy like a 70 Charger RT that for 30 grand just to get something restorable that, you know, is in really decent shape, you're going to want to invest all the money to get 90 grand out of it, maybe?
Yeah.
If it's like numbers matching perfect, I don't know. And then they don't last forever either, because even original, they rusted out, so.
Well, originally they were driven. So if you restore it, make it perfect, and then put it in a climate-controlled environment.
Yeah.
But what fun is that?
That sounds like fun.
I guess the bottom line is we want to get back to the fun of it.
Yeah, the fun. I'm not living forever.
All right, well, that's a rant for now, huh?
That's nerd stuff.
Nerd stuff. All right, Con, good rant. We ranted a little.